Hello and welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for being here. Today I wanted to share some things that I learned about money, some of the lessons that I learned, good and bad, easy and hard in my 20s that helped me get to where I am today now that I am 30. And hopefully you guys find this interesting. And if you are into it, please stay for the rest of the video and we can get started right now. So I learned 10 money lessons, most of which I learned actually later on in my 20s because that's when I started really focusing on my finances. So here are 10 things that I learned in my 20s about money that I want you guys to learn faster than I did. Number one, your parents might not know everything about money and might not be able to teach you what you think they should have growing up. They may also have limited knowledge of the money issues of today because things have changed. There are people who have parents who are older, maybe they're retired, maybe they've been at the same job for decades and they don't understand what the job market is like right now, or they don't understand inflation because they bought their house when it was way more easy to support a family on a job that might not have been as demanding as they are now. Some people are just out of touch, and that's what happens when you are in a routine that hasn't changed in years, sometimes even decades. Eventually, even with people whose parents do teach them things about money and financial independence, there's a limit to what they can teach you because they can only teach you from a lens that they've experienced or that they've learned. So if their lens is in a different trajectory than yours, then you may end up needing to learn the extra info or the current info on your own and depart from what you know and what your family has told you. Building good financial habits is hard. It's hard for multiple reasons. Getting the capital is not easy, so that's a battle all in itself. It's just not a sexy process. You have to be patient. In a world where there's so much instant gratification, delayed gratification really does pay you in the end. And there's no fun in waiting for your gratification when you're looking around and you're seeing everybody get what they want now, seemingly on the internet. You may even have to lose out on some fun with your friends and your family in order to reach the goals that you want to reach. And being able to find a middle ground between that is really where the battle lies. Your relationships with your friends, with your families, even sometimes your partners, they may change due to money. And this is just something that's inevitable and sometimes unfortunate. You're going to start noticing as you get older discrepancies or differences in your finances versus your families and versus your friends. And it could cause two things. It could cause you to be motivated and it could, really propel you forward. Or it could hold you back. It could cause guilt. It could cause some conflict, or even you may even lose some friendships and some links due to the differences in your finances versus others. I started my money journey saving $600 a month and making $2,500 a month, making $30,000 a year after taxes, living in Chicago, Illinois. Even though the beginning was, humble, I appreciate those times because it taught me what I needed to learn. It helped me lay the foundation for the habits that I needed in order to be where I am today. And that's also when I started to notice some discrepancies in not necessarily the capital or the money that I had with others. A lot of people were at the same level as me when I had first graduated college. Peers were all making maybe a little bit more, a little bit less than what I was making at that time. But there was definitely mindset differences because I was coming from a place of lack. I wanted to make sure that I had food security and a place to live. I was trying to combat homelessness at the time as well due to my family history. So it helped motivate me to stay disciplined and to reach certain financial goals that would help push me forward in life. These differences in your mindset versus others may cause a shift in your relationships, and they can be good or bad. Compound interest is absolutely amazing. It's something that you would hear about when I first started my financial journey in 2018. And I would always be like, yeah, compound interest, Warren Buffett, all of that stuff. People always say that, but it really is the eighth wonder of the world. When I first started saving, I was saving $600 a month in my savings account. It was a standard savings account. I was getting 0.03% interest. So like making a penny every month on money that I was putting into my savings account. It wasn't until I turned 25 or so and started investing in the S&P 500 that I realized that saving money in a bank account just is not going to cut it. It's not going to be enough, and you need to be doing more. I thought to myself, I need to be doing more in order for my future to have retirement in it. Once I started investing my money, my savings skyrocketed. And I think the biggest change in my net worth happened between 2019 and 2020 due to investing, and surprisingly enough, investing in my 401k and just letting things sit. During that time, as you know, with the public health crisis, there was nothing to do but work and hide. And so I was really, keeping my head down and investing. And just in a year, I was able to save around $18,000 in my 401k. And that would not have been possible without compound interest at all. Number 5, handling money responsibly is boring. And that's something that maybe it's just my opinion, but it's also a lesson that I learned. It's very routine. You do the same thing every month. If you want to succeed, you have to really get into a pattern and stick with that pattern, which is unfortunate. But if you're able to delay your gratification and stay the course, you will see results. And it won't be overnight. It'll take years, sometimes even decades, to see those results. And you have to be okay with that in order for success to happen. You may notice more entitlement when it comes to what you have if you do let people know where you are financially. And this is where I had to really take stock in what I would tell people and what I would give people access to. I know I talk about money on the internet, and that is opening myself up to people asking questions and, people making assumptions, which is fine. But I think finding the balance between giving people what they want while also maintaining some air of privacy is the biggest lesson that I learned in my 20s. You have the right to share what you want, and you have the right to refuse what you want. And just being okay with the responses to what you choose to do with your money is part of the learning process. I actually wrote a blog about financial leeches. This is still relevant to this day. It's one of my most viewed posts on my website. You guys should definitely check that out to get more details about how to, just set up some boundaries when it comes to leeches, financially, emotionally, all of that. And it's definitely a big lesson that you should learn sooner rather than later. Number 7, if you can't buy it twice, don't buy it yet. Don't buy it. A lot of this comes with keeping up with the Joneses. You just want to, impress. It makes you feel good that you're, in with everybody else. Like I said, you're going to see people doing things that you want to do while you're saving, and being patient is not fun. But if you cannot afford something, don't buy it. I can't say it enough. There are so many people now that I'm seeing on the internet and in real life that have said, if I had known then what I know now about things, I would not have bought this or gone here or, gone to the club so many times, spent this much. I would rather do things late than to have regret about things that I did do. On the same token, some people say, you could have what ifs, but in terms of physical things or buying material things, I don't think there's such thing as what if. You can always go back and buy it when you have more money. So just think long and hard about what you buy and when, and if you can afford it. If you can't afford it twice, don't buy it. And just going off of that too, number 8, don't use buy now, pay later for just anything. I would only use buy now, pay later if I absolutely had to. And you don't need to do that for a Louis Vuitton bag, right? You don't need to do that for a pair of Jordan shoes. Obviously, you can do what you want with your own money, right? But this is a lesson that I learned, not even through experience, but from seeing people make these mistakes when they're putting their whole lives on layaway, and then they're having to ask you to borrow money in order to pay off this loan, basically with interest. I think if you can't afford something, again, if you can't afford it twice, don't buy it at all. If you can't even afford it once and it's not an emergency, do not use buy now, pay later. It's really just racking up debt. Be careful of people who want to merge finances with you. I found that when people think that you have a lot of money, or if people see that you're starting to accumulate any type of wealth, they immediately start to talk business. And there are some people I think you should really take stock of their portfolio, their business practices. If you don't know anything about someone's business practices, do not go into business with them. If you're talking about money, or you're passionate about something and you're talking about what you've been doing, you're meeting a savings goal, and the first thing that they bring up is, oh, we should go in on some property, or we should open this business. Just know that they're wanting your funding, and they're seeing a shortcut towards what they want for themselves. And they're just wanting you to put into that dream. I don't think it's smart to merge finances with people that you know, with family, with friends. I know people like the thought of family business, but a lot of the time that just really opens the door for a lot of messy situations. So definitely keep your finances close to the belt in your in real life relationships, to where you might find it hard to say no if someone's asking you to merge your finances. And number 10, the final lesson that I learned is to not be hard on myself, because I will get there. When you're first starting your savings journey, or you're trying to reach a certain financial goal, it's easy to look online or in real life, on TV, in the media. Basically, it's easy to see things and be like, how did they get there? I want to get there now. It always goes back to delayed gratification. When I first started investing, I remember I invested $50, and I thought, I have so long to go. Like, how am I going to get to $1 million? I was going on Instagram and seeing all these millionaires who were my age, 24, 25. And I was just like, dang, like I'm so far behind, and I want to be rich now. Like, who doesn't, right? But with patience, I was able to see a good amount of growth in just 5 years. So I'm 30 now, and I never would have thought that I would be where I'm at now at the age of 25. So just know that if you start now, you will get there. And really, all you have to do is just be patient, and you will get there. So those are my 10 money lessons that I learned in my 20s. And I want to know more what you guys learned in yours. So in the comments below, please tell me what lessons you learned about money in your 20s that you're going to be taking into the next decade, or that you have taken into the next decade. And what are some lessons that you've learned the hard way? I really want to hear in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next video.